Lastly, we'll talk about the effects of flooding and storm events on coastal wetlands. Extreme storm events such as hurricanes are known to cause a wide range of damaging effects along coastal shorelines, including erosion, flooding, movement of sediment, and vegetation loss. These types of disturbances are mainly caused by the wind and water effects these storm events have on the ecosystem. According to the EPA, an average of 80,000 acres of coastal wetlands were lost per year due to both human activity and natural processes between the years of 2004 and 2009. One of the biggest issues is the conversion of saltwater wetlands to open deep water, with around 100,000 acres being lost over those years, accounting for 99% of all saltwater losses. Most of these losses occurred in the Gulf of Mexico due to the impacts caused by Hurricane Katrina, Rita, and Ike. The magnitude of storms is ever increasing and having severe impacts on coastal wetlands with the additive effects of climate change and human disturbance. Therefore, it is even more important to begin developing better monitoring methods and protocols so that we properly assess the impacts these extreme natural disturbances have on our coastal wetlands. A study was conducted to quantify the severity of storm surge impact caused by Hurricane Sandy along the New Jersey coast. Hauser et al. 2015 proposed a wetland degradation quantification system and ecosystem service loss analysis that would provide insight into storm surge impacts and management methods for remediation and restoration efforts. Ecosystem services are the benefits that humans receive via ecological function, either directly or indirectly, from a given type of ecosystem. The ecosystem service loss value is based on the land use change, such as wetlands being converted to urban areas. The ESV analysis was based on their degradation index and then multiplied by the area of the wetland impacted. Results indicated that half of all degradation had long-term effects and the other half short-term, with much of it being due to moderate flooding and marsh dieback. Results also indicated that wetlands with higher woody vegetation cover and farther distance from the coast had more resistance to ecosystem service loss. There have been multiple studies using multivariate regression models and simulations aimed to predict the impact of storm surge and flooding events within coastal wetlands. Lauder et al. 2009 used simulations with real-world hydrological metrics to predict storm surge effects on coastal wetland characteristics. The study used numerical modeling, coastal wetland parameters, and hurricane parameters to set up their simulation. Results showed that when marsh continuity decreased, there is an inherent increase in storm surge conveyance throughout the landscape. The lowering of marsh elevation resulted in a decrease in surge level, and the increase in bottom friction resulted in a decrease in storm surge, except for storms with a greater than 2-meter surge peak. March et al. 2012 created a model to predict habitat change along 2 coastal wetlands on the Gulf of Mexico in regards to rising sea levels and storm surge events. In both sites, a 1-meter sea level rise converted the land from a salty prairie to estuarine emergent, either by half or completely. Under a 3-meter sea level rise, the grasslands and evergreen forests were converted by over 40%, or 70%. Overall, results depicted that both study sites would undergo significant habitat shifts under increasing storm surge and sea level rise. Both of the studies concluded that more research needed to be done using current data of land use and land cover and other real-time measurements to predict more accurate impacts. With all of these impacts identified and possible ways to monitor wetland health, how is such a complex issue addressed effectively? The answer is through well thought out governmental monitoring, regulation, and management at all levels. Landscape level monitoring and regulation is best done at the federal level. State and local governments can address more unique, medium to microscale ecosystem effects. Regulating the designs of new development can lower potential impacts, while restoring and armoring impacted coastal wetland zones will help address wetland loss and function issues. Partnerships with nonprofit organizations can help expand monitoring, education, and mitigation measures in addition to government involvement. Through continued adaptive management and updates to regulations, the National Wetlands Mitigation Action Plan is a good tool for addressing wetland health on watershed levels. By developing frameworks around watershed health as opposed to project by project mitigation, should help ensure critical zones and overall wetland ecosystem health are being retained. The key is providing practical, implementable, adaptable monitoring and management solutions to our ever changing, expanding world. Thank you.